Salt water stung Jack's eyes. His lungs burned intensely. He clung to the slick, moss-covered boulder, waves crashing violently around him. The storm had ripped his small sailboat apart, leaving him at the mercy of the churning sea. His gaze darted towards the dark silhouette of the island looming in the distance. An unnatural silence hung in the air, broken only by the crashing waves and the cries of unseen birds. The island seemed to pulsate with an unseen energy, a silent warning echoing in the wind. Exhaustion gnawed at him, but fear provided a surge of adrenaline. He had to reach the island no matter what. His fingers tightened around the barnacle-encrusted rock, his knuckles white. Taking a shuddering breath, he dove into the churning water, fighting his way towards the shore. The storm had vanished as quickly as it arrived, leaving behind a sky that was both calm and ominous. An eerie stillness settled over the island, a quiet so profound it felt almost unnatural. Jack collapsed on the beach, the sand cool against his raw skin, his body aching from the ordeal. He looked back at the wreckage of his boat, now just splintered wood tossed by the waves, a stark reminder of his narrow escape. Despair threatened to engulf him, but survival instincts kicked in, urging him to fight for his life. He needed shelter, food, and a way to signal for help. The island was vast and uncharted, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. A shiver ran down his spine, a cold dread that seemed to seep into his very bones. He couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, eyes hidden in the shadows, tracking his every move. The island felt alive, pulsating with a hidden energy that sent shivers down his spine, an ancient force that seemed to whisper secrets. The whispers started subtly, carried on the wind, growing louder with each passing moment. They seemed to emanate from the depths of the ocean, a low, guttural chanting that sent chills down his spine, echoing in the stillness. The hair on the back of his neck stood on end. Something was down there, something ancient and evil lurking in the depths, waiting. Days turned into an endless cycle of hunger and fear, each one blending into the next without respite. Jack found meagre sustenance foraging for berries and shellfish, his hands growing rough and calloused from the constant search. He built a makeshift shelter from the wreckage of his boat, a poor defense against the elements and the unseen terror that haunted his waking moments. The shelter, though fragile, was his only refuge. The whispers grew louder, echoing in his dreams, filling his nights with dread and his days with unease. Nightmares plagued him, visions of a monstrous, shadowy creature with eyes that burned like hot coals. These visions left him trembling and drenched in sweat. One afternoon, while searching for food along the rocky coastline, he saw it. His heart pounded as he squinted against the sun. A fin, black and sleek, slicing through the water with an eerie grace. It circled slowly, disappearing beneath the surface only to reappear moments later, closer to shore. Each time it vanished, his anxiety grew. Terror, cold and sharp, pierced him, freezing him in place as he watched the fin's relentless approach. This was no ordinary shark. This was something ancient, something evil, a creature born from the darkest depths of the ocean. The whispers, he realized, were not a figment of his imagination. They were warnings carried on the salt-laden breeze, urging him to flee before it was too late. Days later, Jack stumbled upon a cave hidden behind a waterfall. The sound of the cascading water masked his presence, offering a brief respite from the relentless pursuit. Relief washed over him. Finally, some protection from the elements and the lurking terror of the deep. The cave's cool air was a welcome change from the oppressive heat outside. He ventured deeper into the cool, damp darkness, each step echoing softly against the stone walls. The further he went, the more he felt a strange sense of foreboding. And that's when he saw it. A rusty metal box half buried in the cave floor. It looked ancient, as if it had been there for decades, maybe even centuries. Hope surged through him. Could it be? A survival kit? A radio? Anything that could help him escape this nightmare. He wrestled the box open, his hands shaking with anticipation. The lid creaked, resisting his efforts, but finally gave way. It contained a few rusted cans of food, a flare gun, and a tattered journal. The items were old, but they might still be useful. He flipped through the brittle pages, his heart sinking with each turn. The journal was fragile, its pages threatening to crumble in his hands. The faded ink spoke of a Spanish galleon, shipwrecked centuries ago. The story was intriguing, but it was the next part that truly chilled him. And of a curse. A demonic shark, guardian of the island, forever bound to it, feeding on the flesh of unfortunate souls who dare to seek refuge on its shores. The realization hit him hard. He was not the first to seek solace here, and he might not be the last.